Have you ever wondered what is the right order to layer your hair care, your hair products, your styling products, your leave-ins, your mousses? There is a right and a wrong way. There's a good order, and if you stick around till the end, you're gonna find out my professional take on how to layer your hair care. So stick around to the end. I'm gonna link all of the products that I talk about. There are a lot of products that I won't be speaking about today, but if you get the general idea, the gist of what I'm talking about, I think you're going to find that your products work a lot better for you if you just order them in the right order. Generally speaking, you want to go lightest to heaviest. Basically, it's following the core principle of absorption and weight. So basically, we're thinking about the hair cuticle, which in a lot of ways is kind of like shingles on a roof. They either are up or they lay down flat like that. So you're kind of thinking about, is your hair wet? Is your hair damaged? Is it high porosity, low porosity? And knowing how to work with the products in that order to think about the outcome of the style you would like, the health of your hair. I think if you follow these core principles, I think your products are gonna perform much better for you. Lighter water-based products have smaller molecules and they need a better access to the hair shaft in order to penetrate and do its job. So if you apply a heavy oil or a cream first, you're basically creating a hydrophobic, something fearful of water, fear of water, that's not it. Hydrophobic, I'll put a definition of it here. But essentially what you're doing is creating a little barrier on each strand of hair that will prohibit those styling products from penetrating into the hair and doing their job. So they basically sit on top of the barrier you created and they don't do anything. They don't perform the way that they were formulated to perform. So first of all, the order that you apply things in will kind of change depending on the porosity of your hair. In general, you want to go lightest to heaviest, kind of like skincare. But there are some factors that you might have to consider when choosing the right product for your right result. So for instance, high porosity hair, which is something I have, color treated, damaged, tired, naturally coarse. Also, these are all things that define my hair. So these kind of, this type of hair, the cuticle is more open, and basically this type of hair has gaps in the cuticle and products tend to absorb quickly but also lose moisture quickly. So for instance, you want to treat this type of hair with a protein treatment before putting leave-in conditioner to kind of help fill those gaps in a little bit. Low porosity hair, fine hair, resistant hair, you're gonna want to apply a little bit of warm ambient heat, just a quick like little blow dryer touch of the heat. It will open up the hair shaft and allow your products to actually penetrate that type of hair and do their job as well. Everyone wants to do their own job. The other thing I wanted to say, there's a couple different common mistakes that people make when applying product to their hair that I've seen, you know, my friends, family doing their own hair. I'm like, oh. Just because I am used to styling my clients' hair and my own hair, I forget that not everyone knows exactly the right order. So a few common mistakes. One is applying product to soaking wet hair, which it makes sense. So you're like out of the shower, your hair has been washed, and you're like ready to get onto it. But if you're applying product to your hair that's like dripping down your back, your product is basically getting diluted and just kind of running off your hair with the excess water, and that's not gonna ever, you know, you're not getting the most bang for your buck. You're kind of just washing the product down the drain. So typical rule of thumb is you want hair to be like about 20% dry, not completely dry, because then different environmental factors start to happen, like the cuticle might close, the frizz might start coming out. That's what happens to me. And you have a harder time getting ahead of all of those problems. So always make sure that your hair is about 20% dry, so it's not your hair, the products are not, you know, they're falling off the hair before they have a chance to absorb. You want to give them the fighting chance. The other thing is you want to use the right amount of product and you want to coat it. Take your time to really coat your hair and use even perfect amount of application. If you apply too much product to your hair, you start to create a product buildup, and then it gets to a point where the hair has so much buildup on it that nothing new can penetrate, and then your products are not working as best as they can for you. Which is also why like a clarifying shampoo, depending on like how dry your hair is, like I know you can use a clarifying shampoo every time, but for me personally, my hair is color treated, I style it all the time, porous, it's naturally coarse, And sometimes I feel like clarifying shampoos are a little bit too stripping. It makes my hair feel drier. So you don't need to do it all the time. You want to do it some of the time so that you're really getting a deep cleanse and getting all of that product buildup off of your hair so it looks healthier and the products work better for you. And lastly, if you mix oil-based products and water-based products in your hand at the same time, they don't mesh well, and so when you go to apply them in your hair, they don't have an even application. I kind of liken it to, like, you know, if you're using an eyeshadow and it starts to get patchy, it's not getting evenly distributed. So if you have water and oil and you mix them together, those products go on unevenly, and you end up with uneven distribution through your hair, and then again, your products are not going to do their job. So overall, what we want to do is create the right environment, get the right order down, thinnest to heaviest, so that your products are working their best way for you. You spend money on them, you might as well use them in the way that's like optimal. So I'm gonna list the correct order along with a couple of examples of what I'm talking about in each category. I'm also gonna apply some to my hair right now because I am out of the shower and my hair is definitely my hair is been air drying for a minute. The ends are fine, but I'm gonna re-wet the top of my hair just to get a little bit of moisture back in, not a lot. The ends are kind of perfectly at their right stage for what I'm talking about. So we're wet, the hair is wet, but it's not dripping and it's not dry to the point where my frizz has started to come out. So that's general rule of thumb. You don't always have to re-wet your hair, but because I yammer and I'm talking, like if I were in my bathroom, I wouldn't have to re-wet my hair. It's just out of the shower, let it dry. Well, maybe I put on some, you know, my my skin routine, and then you can go from there. So first of all, I wanted to say these bond repair mists, you can hear the weight of them. When I shake these products, they sound like water. So these are very lightweight and they're intended for bond repair. This is Wella Ultimate Repair Miracle Hair Rescue. It has AHAs and omega-9s, instant long-lasting repair and protection inside out. So thin. Of course, this is the K18 Professional Molecular Hair Repair Mist. So these are the ones, this is kind of before I do a leave-in or detangler. I start with this where my hair is still wet, and I've already applied some K18, but I'll do a little bit more just so you see the kind of application. And again, we're gonna do a claw hand. Gonna start here, and as you drop the hair, you're kind of going with it so it gets penetrated evenly. It's all about even distribution. So this, you hear the lightweight, light to heavy. So this is the lightest. And if you don't have a bond repair treatment kind of first step spray, you might want to look into them. There's a ton at the drugstore, which I need to find some. I know Abby Young mentions her favorite ones from the drugstore all the time. In terms of order, this is the first step, the lightest, and from now we're gonna build. I like leave-in conditioners on my ends. Again, my hair is dry and color treated, and I would say 95% of the time when I'm working on clients, I put a little bit of leave-in conditioner on the ends. For longevity and style, if we have a big photo shoot, if there's a long press day, I don't want a lot of heavy products to weigh the hair down, because then I'm gonna spend the whole day trying to get the volume in the hair, trying to get, you know, well, unless it's like a slick back wet look, then I'll really go crazy with leave-in products. But generally, and for you, and you know, on a day-to-day basis, keeping some leave-in conditioner at the ends of your hair, mid-lengths to end, is just a good way to keep your hair hydrated. They help with shine and overall health, longevity of your hair. My favorite, oh my God, I'm frazzled today. Again, with the Wella, I'm really impressed with this line. I've been really into them. This is a protective leave-in, again with omega-3s, and you can see, I'll do a couple. It's like milky, but it's still runny enough to go down my hair, run down my hand. And yeah, it's just a very lightweight leave-in conditioning cream. And again, just kind of like mid-legs to end. And you wanna take your time. Don't just like put it on and go. Really give it a second. And I kind of sandwich my hair between my hands, and I make sure that I get the ends like this, because I really want that product to absorb. And take your time when you're applying products. You know, think about like applying sunscreen. You don't just like you like make sure that you get all of the skin, maybe put some on your ears, take your time with hair products. I promise you, if you take your time and layer products the proper way, your products are gonna perform better for you. I also love other leave-in creams. This is probably the lightest weight, the Wella one, but I love this rose. It's the Milk Hair Serum. This is a beautiful, beautiful product. And that's not running down my hand as fast, so it's a little bit, I'd say a medium texture. Oh, it feels so good. And Olive Rose's products smell like an absolute dream. And then this Palo Santo leave-in conditioner from Pattern Beauty is for sure the thickest. You can see it's like thick, keeping its structure coming out of the tube. And there's a gazillion on the mark, but these are just the ones that are here in my house. You have fine, medium hair. I'm trying to give a couple options for each category, and now I need a towel. Hold on. Okay. So those are leave-in conditioners. You want to apply to, obviously, like I said, 80% wet. It's not sopping wet, so the product's not running off, but it's still wet enough where all the products can penetrate the cortex, replenish the moisture bonds. You know, these are the products doing the heavy lifting, really, as far as hair health. So you want to do it when your hair is still open and receptive to these products penetrating. And so you want to start with this lighter, the mists, and then the leave-in conditioner based on what your hair type is and what your hair needs are. So next is a hair serum, which I guess is really like, these kind of overlap a little bit. Even though this is a leave-in, it is also a serum because it has, they're slightly heavier, but they're still fluid. These kind of tend to also straddle into the next category, which is creams and like mousses. Serums contain silicones or proteins which coat and smooth the cuticle layer. So the leave-in conditioners are doing the conditioning, you know, usually have more hydrating conditioning properties. Serums are more like kind of styling options, which we're about to get into now. So like I said, the serums, moving into lightweight creams, that's that section. And now we're gonna get into more stylers. So depending on the style that you're going for, this is gonna dictate what kind of product you're looking for. On a typical day-to-day, you know, blowing out your hair, whatever your goal is, if you have curly hair and you want to kind of go with something wavy and curly, this is when you put in kind of that kind of curl cream, curl gels, that kind of thing. And then, you know, however you style your curls, you scrunch, you diffuse. If you want volume at the root, this is a good time to put it in. I'm going to today blow out my hair. So in general, you know, you're either thinking about a couple things when you're choosing your styling products at this phase. So for volumizers, I like products that have a lot of bang for their buck. So they work, but they're kind of seamless in the hair. They coat the hair, but they're not, you can't see the hair from across the room. You can't see the product. You know, it looks kind of like wet cotton candy. And the products that I tend to reach for are brushable. And when you brush them, they don't like flake. You're not gonna get stuck trying to comb through your hair. It's gonna be lightweight, it's gonna be touchable, it's gonna be movable, but they're still gonna do the things you want, like volume at the root, the smooth bouncy end. Maybe you want something that's even shinier. Maybe you're gonna put it in a bun. But generally speaking, at this point, this is when you incorporate one of those. So for instance, I want volume in my blowout. So I'm gonna put a little bit of this Chris McMillan mousse at my roots. This is where you would put a mousse or a volumizer root lift spray, a root lift spray from Rose. This is a root lift spray, but I do end up spraying this all over my hair because I think it provides just a perfect little lightweight, heat protecting. It gives just it's ultimately brushable and invisible. Both of these are. Then there's some blowout sprays if you need a little extra smoothing. Chris McMillan Glassy Smooth Blow Dry Spray, Kevin Murphy Blow Dry Ever Smooth, and then the Oribe Royal Blowout. These are all beautiful blowout sprays. And I tend to put volumizers kind of from the root to mid, and then one of these blow dry sprays from mid to ends. Although they all kind of work together, but generally that's the order. So let me apply these real quick, and you'll see I'm gonna take my time and really get these into the hair on an even application. So starting at the back, I'm going to pin that up just like this. I'm gonna spray this at the roots in the back, and then once I get to here where I want the volume, what's more visible, because it's hard for me to see what I'm doing back there, then I'm gonna switch over to the root lift spray just here. So I know that this is where my roots are. Give that a little spray, and then And always like move your hand as you're spraying stuff so that they get as even of a coating as possible. And then today I'm gonna use this Orbe Royal Blowout heat styling spray. And this is just gonna go mid-lengths to ends. Okay, let's keep it moving. Okay, I do want to say I'm being a little bit extra because I'm demonstrating. I don't normally put three styling products in my hair. That's a little overboard, but I was kind of showing more for application, just how much you could use. You can use one volumizer at your root all the way through the ends. You don't need to do all three like I was doing. That's a little crazy, but all right, I'm gonna blow out my hair and then I'll talk about the rest of the order of products. So see you in a second. Okay, I know that this is not a blow dry tutorial, but I left this part in just because I wanted you to see how I'm really taking a section and I'm using the heat and the brush to activate the formulas in these products. So just as I was thorough to apply the products, I am being just as thorough to give each strand of hair its moment, its best utilization of the blow dryer and the wet products. I hope that makes sense. Okay, I am really hot and happy that the blow dryer is done. Anyway, let's continue with layering hair products. Whew. I'm really hot, so I'm just gonna put my hair up in a little loose bun. Oftentimes when I don't want to put this is a side note from the layering of the products. I give myself a blowout and I just want to give it a soft wave. I'll twist my hair up into a little bun just like that and take one of my favorite beauty power pins, this is in gold, and just kind of set my hair. And you'll see at the end of the video, I'll take this out and it'll give just a soft little loose wave. Also, it's kind of cute up like this too. All right, let's finish this. Sorry for the rambling and all over the place. All right, so we have the stylers, the ones on the ends, the ones at the volume. And like I said before, you could do the whole look with one product. You don't need to do three like I did. I was just being extra and like demonstrating different products, but you don't have to do all of that. You can just use one product as long as you get the right product for your hair type and your desired style. Finally, to end, say you do want to put your hair up in a slick back tight little bun that's so popular these days. This is at the point where you would put in a gel, some of my favorites, Orbe Rock Hard Gel and Orbe Gel Serum. I just tried this in New York for Zoe Saldana. We used the Chris McMillan The Gel. This was amazing, super shiny, which I love. I also have this Color Wow Pop and Lock, which has a little bit of iridescence in it. So if you're gonna have your picture taken, it kind of catches the light really well. I also love the Rose Evergreen Style Cream. It's more of a cream-based touch-up product, but it kind of does the same thing, but it's more cream instead of gel or like serum. And if you don't want to do that kind of a look, you don't want something slick or whatever, and you want texture, these are some of my favorites. Orbe Apre Beach, Orbe Dry Texture. I also love the Renee Furter Texture Spray. So those are where, at that point, after you start from thinnest, leave-ins, serums, and then stylers, whether it's slick or gel or these extra stylers, at this point, the stylers are designed to sit on top of your hair and not absorb. So this is the point of the day or the routine where you would put the stylers in. They just sit on top. They're designed to form a cast and not penetrate. And certainly this has to be the very last step. If you are going to use an oil, this is the step where you would do that. Oils are hydrophobic, so they're designed to repel water. So you definitely don't, if you're trying to hydrate your hair, you never want to put on oil first because it's going to form a layer. It's going to resist all of the other things that you want to penetrate, like moisture, the advanced technology that these new products have. These oils need to go very last. So this is Chris McMillan, the Glassy Smooth Hair Oil, the Rose Santa Lucia Styling Oil. Both are very liquidy. If you want a thicker, heavier oil for more of treatment, Rose makes a really beautiful one. It's called Willow Glen, and it's really thick. It's gorgeous. I know there's some of the drugstore, like the OGX one is really nice. Coconut, there's a coconut one. But this is the point. You don't want to do oil at any point before this, because this is gonna really like lock everything out. So oil's the last step. I can show you how lightweight these are, just so you can see on a daily basis. They're not gonna, see, it's very, 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 very liquidy, super lightweight. And again, smells absolutely divine. And the Chris McMillan Glassy Smooth Hair Oil, it's even a finer formula. It's super, I mean, even the fact that it comes in a spray is so cool. I love both of these. They both smell divine. All right, I'm gonna wrap it up. You can see it was, my hair was up in just like for 2 seconds, and it already has a tiny little bend. I'm gonna run some of this residual oil through my ends. So at this point, now that there's oil in my hair, that's it. This is the final step. It's kind of like a occlusive step. Think about your moisturizer is your last thing to go on at night. And during the day, it's your sunscreen. Rule of thumb, thinnest to thickest, oil always being the last step. And I was thinking while I was blowing out my hair, if you want advice on how to layer the products in your routine, hair products, leave a comment below and I'll tell you which order to do, and which order to apply them to your hair. And if you are, and if you need product recommendations, you can tell me what kind of hair you have, what kind of length, density, straight, curly, thickness, 4C, 2A, all of the things. Tell me all about your hair and tell me what part of the routine you're missing, and I can give you a product recommendation. It would be my pleasure. So that's it for me. I'm overheating and I'm go take a break, but I hope that helped in any way. Please don't forget to follow me at Hair by Aviva, my brand at Dayrate Beauty, just Dayrate Beauty. Thank you for being here. Make sure you're subscribed and like this video if it helped in any way, and I'll see you in my next one.